Guarantee you a damn fine interview with my boy Mike Davis, who joins the program now. Mike, thank you so much for being on the program in short notice. Congressman Troy Nehls is stuck on the floor screaming, ranting, raving about something, and we sure are sure it's Hunter Biden. So, Mike, have you ever seen anything like this? I'm thinking like the Hindenburg, maybe, going up in flames, maybe the Titanic.
I mean, it's very clear from Hunter Biden's sweetheart plea agreement that the Biden Justice Department is protecting the Bidens. They're protecting their boss because they know that there is evidence that Joe Biden is corrupted, is compromised by tens of millions of dollars in foreign bribes and other corruption to Joe Biden, to James Biden, to Hunter Biden. It seems like every Biden family member, except for the 4-year-old granddaughter in Arkansas, who they don't claim. And this evidence is overwhelming. We have IRS whistleblowers, we have SARS reports, we have bank transfers that House Oversight Chairman James Comer has, that they have this overwhelming evidence, and the Biden Justice Department was trying to sweep all this under the rug with Hunter Biden's plea agreement, and they were lying about the terms of the plea agreement. They were trying to essentially give Hunter Biden a backdoor presidential pardon here through this plea agreement, and this Democrat judge, this judge who was picked by both Democrat senators in Delaware during the Trump administration as part of a compromise, smoked them out yesterday.
I mean, were you surprised?
I was surprised because I actually thought that this Democrat judge, like almost all Democrat judges who have no integrity, would just rubber stamp this thing and let it move along.
So what happens now? Can you game theory for us? Hunter Biden pled not guilty. I think that is ill-advised.
Well, I mean, he had to plead not guilty because this was that they were either going to go in and plead guilty, or they're going to they were going to have a plea agreement, or they were going to plead not guilty and move this case along to the next phase. And so the Biden Justice Department will have to try once again to work with Hunter Biden's attorneys on another sweetheart deal that can pass this judge's muster. But I think they've been smoked out here. I mean, I think it's very clear that David Weiss, the U.S. attorney in Delaware, is corrupt, and he had this corrupt sweetheart deal with Hunter Biden, and it wasn't to protect some 53-year-old crackhead. It was to protect David Weiss's boss, the president of the United States, Joe Biden.
So the public image here is really bad. I mean, even in leftist media, people are saying this falling apart is going to bring an enormous amount of scrutiny on Hunter Biden. People are saying that this deal may actually come back but be far, far worse for Hunter. And now it opens up the FARA violations and opens up new lines of inquiry into the Biden crimes. Do you see anything coming from that? I mean, do you think that things could potentially be getting worse for Hunter?
I mean, it should be getting worse because it is very clear that Hunter Biden was the bagman for Joe Biden's foreign corruption schemes as vice president of the United States. Joe Biden and Hunter took $10 million in foreign bribes from Burisma. They threatened to cut off then Vice President Joe Biden threatened to cut off $1 billion in U.S. aid to Ukraine unless the Ukrainian president fired the Ukrainian prosecutor investigating Burisma and the Bidens. They have 17 audio recordings of this at Burisma, 15 with Hunter, 2 with Joe. And I don't think that Joe Biden, who is not exactly the brightest bulb out there, realized that this Burisma executive with whom he was shaking down this bribe may have been a Russian asset. So you have Russia, who could have compromising material on a sitting president of the United States on a foreign bribery scheme. And guess what? This is Ukraine. This just happens to be where America is at war with Russia. It can't get worse than this. And so House Republicans need to move forward aggressively They need to open an impeachment inquiry now. They need to start calling in these witnesses now.
So you are in favor of impeachment tactically?
100%. You have a compromised president of the United States there is very clear and damning evidence that this president, our president of the United States, is compromised by these foreign bribes and other corruption, and it is affecting America's foreign policy. We're at war with Russia right now. We were not at war with Russia during the Trump administration. We're at war with Russia almost certainly because Russia knows that the president of the United States, Joe Biden, is weak and compromised because of these corrupt foreign dealings with Burisma in Ukraine.
Man, the worst is yet to come. Article 2, Section 4 lists bribery as a reason you can impeach a president.
I mean, and foreign bribery is probably the number one reason you would do it, because it makes your president of the United States compromised. It makes him make decisions based upon his own financial interest or the person who bribed him's financial interest instead of the American interest. And we're seeing that very clearly in Ukraine.
Final question for you, Mike. What would be your legal advice to the members of the House who sort of, like, all of our hopes rest upon them, right, in this impeachment inquiry? How would you go about this inquiry of Joe Biden?
I would impeach Joe Biden and Merrick Garland immediately. I would impeach Joe Biden immediately because there is very clear evidence that he took foreign bribes and other foreign corruption. And I would impeach Merrick Garland immediately because it's very clear that Merrick Garland's been protecting his boss here.
Yeah. Well, from your mouth, of course, too, Kevin McCarthy's here, who seems to be agreeing with you now suddenly. It's like the power of Mike Davis, man. The guy got us the Supreme Court. The guy single-handedly ended, you don't have to say it, Mike. The guy single-handedly ended Roe v. Wade, affirmative action. Mike Davis, one of the greatest legal minds in American history. You got to follow him. Right there, talking to the great Chuck Grassley, whispering in Chuck Grassley's Iowa ear. Follow Mike Davis. 133,000 people can't be wrong. Also, the Article 3 Project, which is Mike's organization. Go and support them. Godspeed, Mike.
Thank you, Ben.